You're listening to the Sports Cycle on 105.1 Live. I'm your host, Tim McKain, and we have a lot of sports topics to go in today. But first, I want to introduce y'all. We already know my boy. I had to bring my boy back, Anthony Jackson. How you doing today, brother?
How you doing there, King? It's good to be back, y'all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So before we get started, I want to really talk about Ultimate Battlegrounds 5. It was actually promoted by Derek Brunson, Gerald McKinnon, and Vincent Morelli. It was a really great event. Theo Erlang, he won the championship, 4-0. He's on the bigger and better things. Shout out to him. There was a lot of great fights that happened. John George, the professor, if y'all don't know, he got them hands. He knows what he's doing in the octagon. There were several other fighters that did so many big things. Tony, did you see any of the fights?
I seen a couple. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm actually excited about that. I'm gonna shout out to the Matrix MMA. Butterfly, Tyler. They did their thing, man. Especially Butterfly with the hands and stuff. I had a feeling he was gonna throw those hands.
Yes,
so.
yes. Jonathan Freeman. He threw those hands. The fighter who he fought, he had no time to react.
Oh my God.
He had no time to react. I was like, watching it live. It was like, yo, he's got the quickest hands I've seen in the octagon live. He's like a boxer out there, and he just like, man, you ain't even gonna think twice. Ooh, the 1-2. Ooh, there was something special, bro.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Ultimate Battlegrounds 5. Shout out to Matrix MMA, Primal MMA, the whole team of Ultimate Battlegrounds 5. Thank you very much for having me be a media representative. I really appreciate y'all. So let's get into our first sports topic. Errol Spence Jr. versus Danny Garcia. Okay, brother, what did you think of the fight going into it and the ultimate outcome?
Man, I feel like, I don't know what was Danny thinking, bro. I don't know what. I really think because of Errol's jab.
Yes.
And his power, too. Like, it was just something that people are just like, I don't know, it looks different from outside until you get in there, you know? So I think Danny was not expecting them. His jab and everything was be so technical because Errol is still a technical fighter. He's still a elite boxer for a reason.
Absolutely.
So I feel like Danny was like freezing up a little bit, He didn't throw his hands as much. And I think he was second guessing. I didn't know what was going on in his head.
To be honest with you, I already knew from the jump what was going to happen.
Yeah.
Look, look. Let's just be honest about it. We knew what was going to happen. I know, like some people, there was an announcer that said that a lot of people had bet on Danny Garcia. I'm like, yo, what kind? Did you even know who Errol Spence Jr. was?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this man, he is a classic, prototypical superstar.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Southpaw. He's man down. Man down. We're talking about Errol Spence Jr. This man has the potential to be pound for pound in the world.
Right.
Okay? This guy should be fighting Canelo Alvarez. Not saying that Danny... So, one, I want to make sure this is clear. Danny Garcia is a good boxer. He's a champion. He's got championship mindset. He's 36-3. He deserved to be in that ring.
Right.
But let's not get it twisted. Errol Spence, man down, hands down, is one of the best fighters in the world.
Yeah, he goes. I love his aggressiveness. You know what I'm saying? And his defense is good for somebody that comes forward, uses jabs, slip a little bit. Like he knows his distance very well. I'm ready for him to see goes against Terrence Crawford. And there's another dude that's out there that's coming up ranked with Sheedy Speedy Ellis too. Because I want to go see him and go against a real technical speedster that knows how to use them angles, knows how to use the quickness, technical and have power. Yeah. Because they got some killers up there that's coming up on the ranks, and I can't wait to see the future unfolds with that too.
Yeah, I definitely hope so. He is 30 years old, and I know boxing. Now you can box a little bit. You can be older and box.
Right.
But I do wonder about that. The one thing that I really wish that he had fought Keith Thurman, but if you look at the Danny Garcia Keith Thurman fight, they're very similar.
Yeah, very.
And they're almost the same when it comes to greatness. They're almost at each other's peak.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, now it's almost like, yeah, if he fights Keith Thurman, it will be a good fight, but we know who's gonna win that too. Even and I'm a Keith Thurman fan.
Yeah,
I like his mindset. He's a different type of fighter.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's a guy who he's very intellectual. He's someone who's reading out, and a lot of boxers are intellectual, but he's someone who's very outspoken. He reminds me of a wrestler in a lot of ways.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
you know what I mean? That. He's a showman. He's a salesman. Kind of, you know what? He's the welterweight Deontay Wilder.
Okay, yeah, I get, yeah.
In his prime, he was the welterweight Deontay Wilder, talking smack, very intelligent, and he backed it up. You know what I mean?
He was backing up, yeah.
He was backing it up, but I think with the several injuries to his elbow, the coronavirus, and the loss to Manny Pacquiao, you know what I mean? I feel like we don't view him the same way, you know, and I do think that would be a good fight. But the best fights, Errol Spence Jr. And here's my point with this: boxing promoters, they need to give boxing fans what they want.
Yeah, most definitely.
They need to give Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence versus Canelo Alvarez. Okay, that's the biggest fights in boxing. Yeah,
I say Canelo, he is right now dominating. Like, he's one of the best of the best. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't think. I'm trying to see if he's still signed with Golden Boy.
No, he left. He's independent now.
Oh, see, so now he can, like, more fights can happen now since he's out of that. You know.
That's right.
That dilemma. So, oh man, boxing's gonna do okay, but only if they fight each other.
Exactly.
Only if they fight each other. You got all the young men like Devin Haney, what's your Tank, and
Davis.
then you got Ryan Garcia.
I like him.
And then Theo Lopez too.
Yeah, Teofimo Lopez. Yes,
I can't forget about him and Gary Russell. So
people sleep on Gary Russell.
Yes.
I know. Look, I know Vasily Lomachenko. He did his number on Gary Russell, but Gary Russell is one of the best fighters in the world.
Yes.
Okay, and I also think Vasily will come back. I'm not sure if he's going to fight Lopez, but he's going to come back and he's probably going to embarrass somebody too.
Right.
Somebody's about to say no mas real quick. I'm just saying somebody's about to say it. But I just feel like when it comes to boxing, the promoters, they have to do a better job, because at the end of the day, if they don't, boxing will die.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think they got some upcoming fighters too. Like, I think they got Showtime Boxing this weekend. And I know a fighter on there named Rayvon Ellis too. He's fighting on that card. So it's going to be a great, exciting fights. I can't wait to watch.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to be in Vegas with my queen and shit. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
What do you think about, like, having, like, a Super Six? Like, Andre Ward had a Super Six, and, like, that was his moment. That's what made Andre Ward a star. Do you think it could be like a Super Six of, like, the welterweights, or like a Super Six of, like, the heavyweights? Like, what do you think that would do for the sport of boxing? Because during that time period when the Super Six happened, Andre Ward, an Olympic gold medalist, actually the last Olympic gold medalist in America, he was dominating the sport. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, he actually is not the last one. Clarissa Shields gold medalist too.
You can't forgive her, man.
Cannot forget about Clarissa Shields. Two times. Excuse me. Cannot forget about her. But as a male, I believe he's the last gold medalist. I believe.
So. I'm gonna have to say I think so.
I'm not sure if Shakur Stevenson, if he got a gold medal or not.
No, I don't think.
No, I don't think he might have gotten a bronze or a silver.
Silver, yeah.
Yeah, probably a silver. But I'm just telling you, what that did was that elevated Andre Ward, and there was a time period where Andre Ward was the best fighter in the world. But then he took some time off. You know what I mean? It kind of messed him up a little bit. But I definitely believe boxing promoters, they need to make a Super Six instead of all these gimme fights. Because it does not help boxing at all. And boxing has been hurt since Mike Tyson left.
It's been like a lot. Boxing could go different ways. It's just, it's not, I feel like we were talking about earlier, people like the sport. They don't love it like back in the day, because you had the best of the best used to go at it like trying to really, really be the top of the world, But now, it's been money involved, and other stuff is going along with it. It's like an illusion that's going on in the sport right now, where everybody wants to go for the money instead of, like, the pride and the love. So I feel like that's what's killing a lot of these sports now, that people are not really putting the love into it. Maybe, like, in time grinding, but when they finally get the spotlight and money's thrown at them, it just fades away, and they just stay with it.
You stay with it, man. You gotta have that. If you're gonna play this sport, and I understand about the money, but if you're gonna play this sport, man, why not play it?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can't play boxing, obviously. People talk about Nate Robinson and Jake Paul.
Man.
Don't play boxing.
Dang, poor Nate, man.
Poor Nate, man. But but you gotta love the sport of boxing. But speaking of boxing, Clarissa Shields. So, Anthony, I want your perspective on this. So Clarissa Shields, she's now she's signed with the PFL, right? And she also is going to continue boxing.
Right.
But I do also remember you telling me earlier before the show started, just because you're training with great fighters or a great gym does not mean you'll be great.
Yes.
So, like, what do you think Clarissa Shields as a boxer needs to do to become successful as a mixed martial artist?
Yeah, because I feel like, she has to find a home and a trainer that's good for her. Like, all these gyms that people go to, like Jackson and it's called America Fight Team and everything else, I mean, they have great fighters, killers, beast. Well, we see that, we know who they are, John Jones, Holly Holmes, and everywhere else, but those trailers are meant, for them, their bond, You want to be like, you want to grow with your coaches and that fits you and your style, because MMA is a real big varieties of different styles where it takes time to learn. You can't really rush into MMA. But we don't know. She probably was working her ground game while she was, catching fade, knocking women out, But we can't really, I can't really judge now, but I feel like she's going to do great because if she goes in there and really wins the championship, man, she's really going to be the greatest fighter of all time.
Ooh.
Because I believe she can do it. If she really go on there, how PFL really brings her up on there just to get the feel of it. And I really think, because it's rare you see an MMA fighter go into boxing and dominate boxing and go and get the title. Just like it's rare you see a boxer go to MMA.
It's never
dominate.
happened.
Yeah, it's never happened. So if she does that, she will be the greatest of all time. All time. They should make a statue. I think they should make a statue of her just because of that, because it's amazing how, I love her confidence. I love how she's going in there ready to do anything. Most people be like, are you sure? Sure. No, she's going all in. I've seen some of the videos of her kicking and working on different combinations and stuff. And she's getting good. She's getting good, Just, for her to just take her time, find the right coaches that will help your style, will bring the best out of you. You might not get at all these top gyms. You might not get in little gyms, but when you find your team, because that's the team for it, your bond, then that's when everything goes, like Conor and his team.
Yes.
Khabib and his team, and everybody else who you build with. That's the thing. Building is better than just, just starting over and stuff. So I hope she makes it, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for her, and I can't wait to see what she does.
I think this is incredible for women's sports in general. I think Clarissa Shields is a trailblazer of women's sports. And like you said, if she does this, she will be the greatest of all time. Not just the GOAT, but the greatest of all time. Being able to translate from boxing to mixed martial arts. She actually has had some training with Chris Cyborg before this. Even when she was training and when she was knocking out, when she's actually 10-0, she's won multiple weight classes in boxing. Right. She was training with Chris Cyborg a little bit. She's training with Holly Holmes, Jones currently right now. But she also knows, if you watch one of her interviews that she did with the PFL and MMA, she talked about how, she knows it's going to be a process. She's like, I'm not trying to win next year, but 2020, 2022, 2023, I'm coming for their neck. You know what I mean? Because she knows it's a process to learn this game. Mixed martial arts is very different than boxing.
Yes.
Very different.
Most definitely, yes, because that ground game, you get taken down, you got to get back up, taken down again, get back up, kicks, punch, elbows, knees. It's like everything's legal besides the owl gouge and getting kicked in the nuts and stuff. Like that's,
exactly.
So I'm can't wait to see, because I just remember this other woman that crossed over. I forgot the sister's name. They're twins. One of them went to MMA as well. And then you got she's Floyd Mayweather's camp actually. I forgot her name. She's a boxer. She went to MMA. She had a fight on Bellator.
Okay.
And then I forgot this other woman name. Starts with an H. Oh my God, I forgot. But she went to MMA too as well, and she a boxer as well. So I guess a lot of people are recognizing how boxing women gets treated good in in MMA. So they're like, why not? Let me cross over. Let me get the recognition I can and build from that and stuff. So, man, the game is changing.
The game is changing, and it should, bro. And it should, because let me tell you why. Clarissa Shields, she's the fastest in history, okay, male and female, to win multiple weight championships. And I think she won a middleweight. I think she won like in welterweight or something like that. But at the end of the day, she's won multiple. She's the fastest of men or women to win multiple weight championships. And she'll get 300 a fight.
Yeah.
And then the next fight, they'll offer 150,000. That's a slap in the face to somebody who's won multiple championships, and she gets 150,000. But if she were a man in her position, she would have gotten millions of dollars. And I think one of the things that she talked about, which is one of the things that I respected, she was like, look, one of the reasons why I chose the PFL was a man can win $1 million and a woman can win $1 million. It's
right.
100% equal, okay? And that's how it should be, especially if they're putting up good shows.
Yes.
And Clarissa Shields, she puts up great shows.
Yeah,
Not just good
They be
shows.
scrapping, man.
Great shows.
They be scrapping.
So I definitely believe this is amazing for women's sports. Clarissa Shields is a trailblazer, and I cannot wait to see her success in the octagon and in boxing still.
Right. Yes. I can't wait. It's going to be exciting, man. I'm excited. Shout out to Clarissa Shields, man. Go ahead, do your thing, and we'll be watching.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know I already talked about this last week, but I want to talk about it again. Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr.
The GOATs.
Two of the best fighters in the past, 30 years?
30 years. Yes.
And Mike Tyson, in his first year, 15 KOs. 15 KO. This man fought every 2 weeks, just knocking people's heads off.
Yeah.
Okay, just knocking people. I mean, Mike Tyson was so great. This man literally had 44 KOs. He had 50 victories, 44 KOs. So this man has only had 6 unanimous decisions his whole career.
Oh.
His whole career, he's only had 6 unanimous decisions. So he's either knocking you out or he's getting knocked out. Because if you look at his record, so he's 50-6. Okay, and so 6 of his losses, 5 are KOs.
Yeah.
So he's either knocking you out or getting knocked out. However, when you look at his 3 losses, they were towards the end of his career on his way out.
Right.
So if you were to take away that, I mean, we're talking about 50-3. One of the greatest fighters of all time, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was intimidating. You go into a ring, you're going
to sleep, man.
You're going to sleep. You scared out of your mind.
And that's crazy because he's scared in training.
Yes.
Remember he says that? He's scared in training, so he's thinking about his opponent. He's, can't sleep. He's working out. But when he sees, like, his opponent face-to-face, and he looks in his eyes, he's like, okay, let's get it.
He was trying to kill him. He was trying to kill him, man. That's what made Mike Tyson great. That's why, as a matter of fact, boxing fans actually got spoiled by Mike Tyson because they're like, we just want to see a knockout.
Yes, and
not everybody's got Mike Tyson power. Not everybody's gonna get knocked out. He was a once in a generation type of fighter that just knocks people out. I do know Deontay does it too, but Tyson did it a little bit better. In my opinion,
his
you know
technique.
what I'm saying? Because his technique was a little bit better. Deontay, he's got a lot of knockouts as well, but he's more of an athlete. He doesn't have the same technique. Okay, but I respect Deontay. Deontay definitely is one of the best boxers ever when you look at his resume.
Yeah, his resume is really good too. But he's like you said, that right hand God, man.
That right hand.
You get hit by that right hand. It's like I seen him hit somebody and it broke through the guard and they still went to sleep. That's like a different type of
Deontay?
power. Yeah.
Oh, no. Look. Deontay's the real deal.
That dude is no joke, man, when it comes to this stuff.
Look, Deontay is the real deal. And I think Deontay would probably give any fighter in any generation a problem.
Yes, right.
Any fighter. But I'm just talking about like the greatness and the mystique. You know what I'm saying? The legacy. Mike Tyson got it.
Yes.
Mike Tyson got it. So shout out to Mike Tyson. But I want to also speak on Roy Jones Jr. Okay? Roy Jones Jr., I know a lot of people that look and they say, well, Roy Jones Jr., he didn't do that much in the previous fight. He was moving around. But you have to understand, Roy Jones Jr. was an athlete. He's athletic. He was skilled. He was a defensive fighter. He was a showman, okay? But in his prime, he was the best fighter in the world.
Yep.
In his prime, okay, he's the second middleweight to go from being a middleweight champion of the world to being a heavyweight champion of the world.
That's true.
Okay?
That's facts.
He's the second one. And the other one previous to him happened 106 years before he did it.
Yep.
Okay? let me tell you something. Roy Jones Jr. And here's the thing: the difference between Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson. And a lot of people might not like this, but Roy Jones Jr. actually had more competition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he fought in the same era as De La Hoya, as Felix Trinidad, as who else am I speaking of? Who else?
He fought dang near everybody. Winky.
He fought Winky. He fought
I think almost down there.
Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, man.
He beat Julio Cesar Chavez. Julio Cesar Chavez at one point was 89-0. When people talk about, it's funny because people always compare Floyd Mayweather's record to Julio Cesar. Said, oh yeah, he got 50. At one point, Julio Cesar Chavez was 89-0.
Yes.
But Floyd will always say, well, who still has that old though?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I just think Roy Jones Jr. he was something special, and while if they were to fight in their primes, I still think Mike Tyson would win that fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I also think that doesn't mean that Roy Jones Jr. couldn't have been the GOAT. Because I just think as a middleweight, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's hard to expect a middleweight to beat a heavyweight.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, at the end of the day, you have to say, when you look at his resume, when you look at the fighters that he fought against, and he also fought against a lot of great fighters, Mike Tyson fought good fighters, greater towards the end of his career. You gotta say Roy Jones Jr. definitely fought against tougher competition. And he was that dude.
Because Roy Jones, man, when I look back at the fight when he went against Tyson, you could tell he was very, very technical. Because when Tyson got in, he ground, he hold him. That's one of the old school legend, technique moves. I mean, it's Mike Tyson. I mean, you're not gonna stand there and trade with Mike Tyson.
No.
It's not. Nah. So his movement was good. Even his little flurries that he was throwing, bow, like that was smooth. It was like when I see him in the prime, I'll definitely give Mike Tyson, but it all depends what Roy shows up.
Okay.
What era of Roy shows up. Now, because I noticed when he was like sidestepping and his hands was down, Mike Tyson would catch him with a hook. Now, if it was a young Tyson, he would have went to sleep. But if it was like the technical, getting older Roy, he probably would have just put his hands up more and probably would have blocked it or evade away. So it's different, man, on the era of Roy Jones, because Roy Jones got like 3 eras like Floyd. He had the pretty boy and he had the money.
Mm-hmm.
When people don't realize before you get to money, you got to be the pretty boy.
That's right.
So I'm taking the same thing of like when Mike Tyson with Augusta, shout out to his coach that passed away, rest in heaven to him. When he was with him, he was dominating everything in his path.
That's right.
Then when his coach went away, that's when he starts going down here.
With Teddy Atlas.
Yes, and seeing that's when you see how like that close relationship can really affect you, So I feel like it all depends what era they are in or which one shows up. Yeah. Speaking
of that relationship, actually, side note, because I thought about something when you talked about that. So, in the post-fight conference with Errol Spence Jr. and Danny Garcia, one of the things that I noticed was Angel Garcia. Okay, so what you were saying was you didn't understand what Danny Garcia was doing. Angel Garcia also was like, well, what are you doing? You're not going at him. But I also think, you don't know what's going on in the ring with those two men. You don't know what your son is going through. Like at the end of the day, he might have been like, yo, I'm fighting, but this guy's just better than me.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just wonder, like, what do you think about father-son duos? Do you think they work? And when do you think is a good time to put it to rest, or should they put it to rest?
They might. I mean, that's a good question. They might have to, considering the type of level they're at now. But see, Danny, I mean, to me, it looks like Danny is losing his fire edge. I feel like he's not having it like he has no more. I feel like he's getting comfortable where he's made enough money. He's been in the game long enough, and now he's trying to just go out, fight the fighters, get money, and go. Because, even though if you fight someone that's better than you, you still have to bring the fight. You still have to bring fight. You might change it, you might not, but at least you give it all. Danny looked like he was just stuck, man. Like the hook wasn't throwing. Like remember that unknown left hook he throws and stuff? Yeah. That wasn't it. It was just a shocking, where his dad is telling him, but I think like he just went out, man, like a light, like a flashbang. Boom, you can't see nothing. Yeah. I feel like he just but Errol Spence has been hungry ever since she's been training and stuff. So they I feel like, what I'm saying, the way how Errol's mindset is and Danny's mindset, and said now, it's
Oh,
totally different. It's different.
different.
Yeah. So if he if it was, I would say if they would have fought probably earlier times, it would be a different type of Danny showing up.
Okay.
It would be like the dog mode Danny that would release that left hook, you know, because there was times he should have really thrown it.
Yeah.
Because I would look back at the fight, you know, I look technical down, but you know he probably would at least try to, you know, move out the way or something, you know.
Yeah.
But Spence just came in there, jabbed him, put his reach, pow, pow, jab, you know, put his hands up perfectly. Because I love Errol Spence's defense, man. He's tight, basic guard, boom, boom, come in, boom, boom, jab, boom. And everything was just hit.
Flowing.
Yeah.
Everything was just flowing.
damage. Yeah, while Danny was just like, oh, man, this dude.
He's crazy.
Yeah.
He's crazy good. But I think it shows Errol Spence's character to take the fight with Danny Garcia. I mean, 14 months ago, he was in a car crash where it was life-threatening.
Yes, most definitely.
Life-threatening. And then he goes in and he's like, I want to pick that guy. I want to pick one of the best welterweights in the world. Danny Garcia, who was actually, I believe, top 5 in the world when it comes to welterweights.
Right,
okay?
right.
Championship level fighter. He could have picked the easy fight, but he was like, no, I want him. And he did what he had to do. I think, of course, like we already said, the only problem I have with Errol Spence is I need him to call out Canelo or Terrence Crawford. I need Terrence Crawford to call out, okay, Errol Spence. Now,
Right.
Canelo, I'm not sure if Canelo really has to call out anybody because I feel like Canelo is somebody, he can move to different weight classes. So he'll be like, well, you're not going to fight me? Well, I'm going to fight him.
Yes.
That's what makes Canelo, to me, so great. I mean, what did he start out as? Like 135, like 140?
I think so, yeah.
And then he moved all the way up to like 160. I mean, what Canelo's doing is really legendary.
Legend, yes.
You know.
And then I forgot about the Charlo brothers too. That will be
Ooh, yes.
they would be good too for Canelo Alvarez too,
Yeah.
or at least Triple G.
But are you sure that they haven't exhausted that? Because, I mean, they already fought twice. People,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And the first time, they said it was going to be bombs away. It was a good fight, but it wasn't bombs away. In the second fight, they had Canelo win, but the fans weren't really sold on the performance.
Oh no, not them fight again. Like the Charlo brothers, one of them go against Triple G.
Ooh,
one of them go
okay.
against Canelo. You
Okay.
know, so I feel like that's a big card. If you have
Yes.
one brother fighting Canelo Alvarez and one brother fighting Triple G,
I like that.
that will be a big card. I'll call off that day.
Boxing needs that kind of fight.
Yeah, because
That's what boxing needs.
the difference between MMA and boxing is when you got top MMA fighters fighting each other, you got everybody watching it. Everybody's watching it, party, you know, everybody's chill. Like, okay, it's a fight now, yeah. But when you got the two top heavy hitters in boxing about to fight each other, the world freezes. Everybody stops what they're doing and they're watching it. You know, when Floyd fought Manny Pacquiao, everybody was watching that
That's
fight.
right. Ain't
They
nothing.
had
Who else?
bars, everything.
That's
Everywhere was watching it. There's not one person that I know that did not watch that fight, especially when he fought Conor. Blew up.
I agree.
So it shows you how powerful boxing is when you got the big heavy hitters, and how MMA is. When you now MMA, they do got some heavy hitters.
Yes.
Like when Conor was fighting and Ronda was fighting.
Ronda.
They was watching, but ain't nothing like when you got like a real like strong boxing come together, because it's like that atmosphere is like finally. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I mean, boxing is like one of America's first great sports. You know what I mean? It was like, I mean, we had Jack Johnson, we had Muhammad Ali, we had so many great fighters, and it's like, yo, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson. I mean, so there's so many great fighters. It just, to be honest with you, I think one of the reasons why boxing is so loved is because almost anybody could do it.
Yeah.
Anybody, I mean, you could come from the slums, man. You try to get your family out. And boxing, not only is it a way where you can get your family out, but also get yourself out the streets.
Right. There's money in different ways in boxing. You can be a good sparring partner. You get paid, have a career in sparring partners, or you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a hustle sport, man. It's a poor man's sport. So I really like, you know, and boxing, you can learn a lot from it too, just by using your hands, the technical part of it, footwork, angles, your jab, your distance, your head movement, reading the body, looking at the shoulders mostly. So, I mean, boxing is a lot to it than just, you know, going in there slugging.
That's facts.
It's a lot to it more than, anybody knows.
So hopefully boxing gets to that same level. But right now, the top fight game is mixed martial arts.
Right.
And there's a lot of big time fights that are happening, that have happened. And but before I want to get into the big ones, I really want to get into the local mixed martial arts community. And me and you, Tony, we've talked about this before. And I've even talked about it here on the radio show where I said North Carolina fighters, they need the respect. What do you think North Carolina fighters need to do to increase their recognition, to increase their wins? Like, what do you think North Carolina fighters need?
They probably have to travel, man. You got to go out there and get the smoke. I mean, it might be like, you know what I'm saying, it might be hard or whatever, but you got to get out there and get the smoke. I mean, like some local events, you can record yourself and put your fights up there and get a little recognition, but some of these major shows are the ones you got to perform on. When it's time to perform under the lights, that's when you got to unleash that mode. You can't, like, if you're a fighter and you love this game, you can't run from the smoke on any other promotions or anything like that. Especially you calling out fighters that you can beat up. There's no point. You might as well go get the work that you need and really get the recognition that you deserve. Especially posting videos and stuff like that. I'm saying, it's great. That's a good start. Motivational quotes. Everything that you want to do to get yourself out there to become a great fighter, you have to put in the work. There's no cut corners at all. Most people that are really out there is because they put in the work. They got great managing company. They got all this investment going into them. So that's why they're on these good shows. They're getting their name out there and everything else. But just because they got it doesn't mean that you can't get it either. Sometimes you got to grind harder than anyone else, and that's okay. I'm one of those people that got to grind harder than anybody else. But it's okay because when my time comes, you're going to see it's going down. It's going to be a bright. You know what I'm saying? It's going down.
They're just going to go night-night.
And it's going to go night-night. If even they go to sleep, they're going to have that nightmare still. So it's just like, man, you just got to go out there and get it. You got to work. It's really it's a lifestyle. If you're on these top shows, even if you're on a local show, it's good, but you want to be on those shows that's on UFC Fight Pass. You want to be on those shows that is on the TV that's getting recognition. You want to be get a chance to go on Bellator, because I know UFC is the main target a lot of people want to go to, but you forgot you got PFL, you got Bellator, you got one championship. You got so many other leagues, LFA. What's another? There's so many, man. XFC, MMA. That's also on Titans of what was it, Tiny Cage? Yeah, Titans of the Cage. You got all these shows that you can really go to and perform on, and just do anything that you can to get out there and put yourself out there. You might never know. People might like you for your performance, even though you could lose the fight, but your performance got so many fans like, yo, I like your style. I like this. When's your next fight? And MMA, they look at records. They don't really care until I feel like most people be impressed. Like, I'll say this: it doesn't like your record don't really count. It doesn't mean how many people you defeat. It doesn't matter how many people you defeat. It's who you defeat.
Facts.
That's how you get a lot of people's attention. That's why when you defeat champions, you go up there. If you don't defeat champions, you just bouncing around, just knocking out people that you beat. It's like, okay. But when you go there and you getting like these top promotions, belts, then that's the recognition come in. When you going against like big names hitters that's going down, like a Sonya, Conor did, Floyd did, a lot of great fighters did, man. Like, because you want to find your nemesis, you want to find your rival, you want that war, you want something memorable for all these people to know where you came from. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want that history, like that Rocky versus Creed type thing. Like, man, I remember that fight. That fight was good, man. Ooh, they're just talking about it. But that's how you get your recognition out. That's what you want. That's what you want. In my opinion, I feel like that's what you want. If you're not getting it in your hometown, then travel, man. That's the best thing. Travel, see what's out there, make connections, meet new people, travel different gyms. Just go out there. I met so many great fighters, boxers. I can name them all from the tip of my, for the tip. You know what I'm saying? Bulldog, Stickman. Shout out to San Bernardino, Cali. Those the ones that started. Chicago, Bass Willie, Pinnacle MMA. You got the Wolf from what's called Bellator. What's his name? Rashidi Ellis, Rayvon Ellis, Ramsey. Man, the list can go on.
The list goes on and on, man. Well traveled. He's a well traveled brother right here.
Man, like it's just the list can go on for them. 100. Coach Sonny, Coach Steve, Coach Anthony, Coach Lamont. Shifu, Team Rock Bottom. I got to give them a shout out. Of course, you got a lot of women out there that's doing the thing too.
Facts.
I think they're in New York. There's one group in New York that I like. There are 2 brothers and 1 sister. They're all going professional. Team Briggs, there they go. They're dope too. So people go check them out. And this is a lot. I know there's a few more in there, but it's a lot, man. That I'm blessed to get this recognition, to get out there and show my talent, my skill.
Exactly.
Even sparring anything, that's what they need to do.
That's a fact.
That's exactly what they need to do. And shout out to Joseph Jackson for his big win he was on I think it was Showtime, New Generation, and he won that, and that's a big win for North Carolina.
Shout out to Joseph Jackson.
Yes,
sir.
so.
And I agree with you to some extent when it comes to the nemesis. See,
Yes.
Floyd Mayweather, right? And this is my opinion, it's not everybody's opinion.
Right.
Floyd Mayweather had rivals outside the ring.
He did
But
too, yeah.
when in the ring, most of the time, maybe there was a couple of fights where it might have, people I think would have been like, maybe did he win? But the majority of Floyd Mayweather's fights, even the quote-unquote nemesis, he demolished them.
Now, I'll give Zab. That was a good one. Yeah, see, you forgot about Zab.
Zab was good, but he didn't. But I mean, he didn't demolish.
Yeah,
him, but
not money. We're talking about Pretty Boy. Yeah,
Okay.
Not money. Money, he destroyed everybody. But Pretty Boy, he had some more. Oscar De La Hoya.
Oscar De La Hoya was a great one.
Shane Mosley almost dropped him.
But that fight, man. No. He had one hit. That was it.
He had 2 or 3, right? But that was in between other rounds. But the main one that I love the most was Zab Judah.
Okay, Zab Judah.
Zab Judah, and there's the other dude.
He's a Spanish guy who.
I forgot Calisto or something like that.
Something like that. That fight, I think he fought him twice.
The second time there was no competition after that. The second time Floyd demolished him.
But the first fight, that a lot of people actually thought that the other guy won. But Floyd came back and said, "Oh no, it ain't gonna happen again."
You see, that's what I'm saying. Like people, every generation he had to put in that work to become money.
True. That's true.
And then you got that other dude that is like he's a drunk boxer. I forgot his name, and he busted Floyd's nose. He was a weird awkward style.
You're talking about he's the Argentinian.
Yeah, like he's
yes. Oh wow.
Floyd said like he's not an undercard fighter.
No, he fought dirty though. He was a really good fighter. He won like maybe 2 or 3 rounds the first fight, but then the next fight it was all Floyd. You know what I mean? Because Floyd's muscle memory, he always the key difference between Floyd Mayweather and a lot of other fighters is the fact that even though he had the money, he trained like he was broke.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, you got to have that mindset. Floyd. That's why Floyd's training is so intense. But no, not Mandana. I know you're talking.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking about. Mandana.
No,
yeah, Marcos Mandana. That's what I'm talking about.
Not him. It was another person. I forgot his name. It was back in Pretty Boy days.
Pretty Boy.
That was one of his other top seeds. Pretty Boy had some wars.
He did. Well, except against Gaddy.
Yeah.
Gaddy. He destroyed Gaddy.
Yeah,
if you see that fight, watch that fight on YouTube. If you want to see Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, you got to see that fight because when I saw that fight, I'm like, yo, hands down. Pretty Boy would beat Money Man.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's tough to come by. Cause I'm gonna tell you, Money he put them hands to work.
Man, I'm telling you, Pretty Boy was like just something you just did not want to deal with. And then like the other things about how I loved about Pretty Boy, he was very accurate. Everything he threw was dead on.
Facts.
Like bow, everything was accurate. But you always gonna remember Pretty Boy because of the fights he had.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Just like Danny Garcia, I remember those fights he had, Keith Thurman and stuff and all that. Those are rival fights.
Right.
Like those, even though you can like really big names become rival fights because like Errol Spence versus what's his name?
Who you talking about? Terrence Crawford?
No, not Terrence Crawford. The other
Kell
one.
Brook.
Yeah. No, not Kell Brook.
Brook.
But see, that was a good one too.
That was a great fight.
That was a great fight too. Even Sean Porter was pretty good too. Even though it was
Yeah.
awkward and weird.
Sean Porter, he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Man of faith, good fighter. But his fight style would piss me off. I mean, he's a football player. He's coming in with his head. It's like his head is almost hitting you as much as the gloves.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember that he had I think Keith Thurman had like a big knot on his head. I think something like that when when Sean Porter did his thing, bro. I would hate that. I would try to knock him out.
I'm telling you, like their style, like his style, but the thing I was watching is how he used to grab Errol Spence and reverse it and put him on the ropes.
Ooh.
Like he reversed. That was something different. So I'm just like, okay, this dude's really working. It's just like Conor, he had his nemesis, Nate Diaz.
Ooh,
That was
yes.
a big one. And then,
Yes.
Khabib, well, it's hard to say Khabib. They were nemesis outside in the cage.
Yeah,
But
Khabib was.
Khabib still demolished him.
Yeah, Khabib. There's never been a fight where Khabib didn't demolish somebody. I don't think.
Nuh-uh.
Not one time.
It's like every fighter always has those rival wars that makes us remember who they are.
And that's why I think Canelo, if he had not taken the steroids, would have been the biggest fighter in the world.
Right.
Because if you look at his track record, I mean, the fact of the matter is that I think he was 21 years old when he fought Floyd Mayweather. This brother was already 44-0. He almost had the same record as Floyd Mayweather at 21 years old.
Yeah, he was a beast, man.
And when he lost to Floyd Mayweather,
Changed the game,
and he came back, and boy, he was still killing the game. He was moving up in weight classes. He was demolishing people above him. That fight that he did against Amir Khan, when he put him to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of memes that he had. I mean, my God.
It's like oh, so you come I think Ronda Rousey probably had the most memes in history of memes of a fighter.
Okay, yeah,
knocked
probably.
out.
Yeah.
I think Ronda had it worse.
When she got knocked out by Holly Holm.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, no, that's true though. But that's because people didn't like Ronda Rousey.
How she came out highly, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People didn't like Ronda Rousey. For Canelo, people loved Canelo Alvarez.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't anybody who was saying, "Oh, Canelo Alvarez, he's this, he's that." No, Canelo Alvarez, he was that prototypical superstar in the making.
Right,
and he still is a superstar. But I just feel like when he got caught with the chicken, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It went down. And I still think he can be a super great fighter and everything like that. But I tell you what, there was a time period where right after Mayweather retired, with Canelo Alvarez, I knew that he was going to be the best fighter in the world, the most popular fighter in the
Well,
world.
look who he fought, Triple G.
Ooh, yes.
That was one of the greatest rivals. Cotto. He fought
Cool.
Cotto.
Miguel Cotto is a great fighter.
And there's so many fights that he fought, man. Like that makes you remember who they are.
Exactly.
That's what it is. That's like Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and who else? Because Deontay Wilder was just going through people too. Man.
Yeah, Deontay was killing dude. What's his name? He beat the Haitian brother Bernard.
I know. I think I know.
Bernard's I forgot his last name, but Bernard he knocked him out. He said, "I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna beat him."
Yeah, it kept it smooth and easy.
And then Deontay just finished him, KO'd him. Why he knocked him out? I think So what happened was, Bernard lasted the whole fight against Wilder the first time. and then Bernard was like, "I'm coming at you. I'm gonna knock you out." I'm saying all this, so that also has some memes too. Because the way he got knocked out when he was leaning back, I was like, Lord Jesus.
The fight game is crazy, man, from both ends and stuff, man. It's just, oh my God. If you're gonna bring all the noise, man, best believe you're gonna get it right back. Social media is no joke because they're undefeated, bro.
Speaking of undefeated, that Nate Robinson.
Yeah, that was probably close to Ronda's. I think that was close to Ronda.
Yeah. What do you think? And this is the last point of today, but I really want to get your perspective on this. I do know that Nate Robinson, he called out Jake Paul. He said, I represent all athletes. But the way he got knocked out, the way that the memes and the jokes, and they're funny and stuff like that, but what do you think that does to a fighter when he sees that he's all over social media and people are blasting him? And do you think because of that he or she should not be as open to social media people.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone truly open themselves up after seeing something like that happen?
It depends on their mentally. It depends mentally. Some people, like, he can make money off this. He can make his own shirt and logo and make money off it. Just they like, you know what I'm saying? All this attention he's getting, like Will Smith and Jada situation.
Okay.
All that attention he was getting. Now Will's everywhere. Will is everywhere right now. You know what I'm saying? He's doing all this cool stuff on social media. Like, he's getting hit. See,
the Fresh Prince.
See, Nate Robinson, like, he's still like, I'm never going to take nothing wrong for him. Boxing is just not his ministry.
No.
But basketball and football is his main ministry.
That's facts.
Anybody can still get dunked. Now, you put Jake right there with, in the basketball.
Oh, no, he's going to get crushed.
He's going to get crushed, yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's flying. Like, it's different. It's different eras. Plus, you could tell Nate didn't train at all.
Gilbert Arenas, he was interviewed by Shannon Sharp, and Gilbert Arenas is a friend of Nate Robinson's, and he said that he didn't train because he wasn't a real boxer. They didn't view Jake Paul as a boxer, but Jake Paul has been training for like 3 to 4 years now. He was saying that they didn't even have the right information, because Gilbert was saying he only trained for a year and a half. Nah, Jake Paul's been training for 3 or 4 years.
He's been training. Yes, he has, and especially how. When I was watching it, how he started. You see the feints he was doing?
Yes.
So I was like, okay, that's beginning of him really taking it serious. So I was like, okay, I was detailing it. Okay, the left. Okay, he's throwing feints. Like, he's just trying to time. Bam, he throwing the jab. He's holding them and stuff. I'm like, okay, like, he's really taking it serious. Especially the body shots were ugly, but the way how he threw the hook was nice on Nate. And I was just like, damn, like, that's all bad. And so I was just like, dang, but. And then what made it bad for Nate is he had the same situation, but reversed on his shirt. Like, he had Jake Paul on that same position while he was walking around knocked out. So I'm like, dude, now you better switch. You can switch the logo.
Interesting. And
now you can do your own. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Shout out to my boy, man, but damn.
Yeah, that was tough, man. That was tough, bro.
I don't mean to laugh at King, man, but dang, man, because it's just that he can use this now, this fuel of fire, as like shirts and all that stuff. They even did a challenge.
Yeah.
The Nate Robinson challenge. Dang, you know what I'm saying? So crazy. Imagine, just because they're using his name, he could get money for everything he's getting. I
like your mindset. That's definitely what he should do. He shouldn't look at this as a way to feel down on himself. Use this to empower yourself and make money for your children.
Because ain't nobody gonna really go in a boxing ring and really throw hands like that. No people really does that. I mean, some people might, but that's
not on that kind of stage.
Yeah, especially like MMA. MMA fighters get dropped, put in sleep holes, and knocked out, have losing records, but. That's a totally different animal.
Yeah, I mean, MMA, you get tackled, they take you down and they tackle, like what happened recently. Guy took him out, he did a split in the octagon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
He did a split in the octagon. Just fall out, tackled him.
Man.
But we got one more topic. I know we don't have a lot of time, but what are your last thoughts on Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather?
Oh, man. It's kind of hard to say that. I feel like that's really
it's a money grab.
A big money grab, because think about it. These YouTubers are really bigger than celebrities. If you really think about it, because you're in their personal life, you see what they're doing every day. They put in everything out on there. So seeing this and his fans and what he's doing, Floyd's like, oh man, I could capitalize on this right here. This is easy money, easy work. Just like when Floyd fought the kickboxer in Japan.
In Japan, got $9 million, I think.
Yeah, $9 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he's easy cakewalk. I thought he was fighting the one that knocked out Nate, he's fighting the other one
who actually literally said he doesn't mind if he wins or loses.
Yeah, because it's Floyd, because he's about to get paid off too, because of his fan base and everything else that's right behind him. So I'm taking it as, okay, this is a big money grab. Shout out to him, big money grab on how they're gonna get it in, and you know what I'm saying. I don't know, man. It's just, I guess Floyd's just having fun with his life now. He's just having fun. He don't mind, just because at the end of the day, I mean, ain't none of them going in the octagon. So
hey, make that money, make that money, brother. You're listening to 105.1 Live. Peace.